Hello and welcome to another episode of Wartune Solo Adventures. Today I'm going to talk a bit about soul crystals. They are a bit tricky part of the game for all of us that started roughly a year ago or so. My character is around 13 months old and I'm quite far from maxing out my soul engraving still. And this is mainly because of the fact that the soul crystal events stopped coming basically maybe 6 months ago. I think we've had maybe a couple since, but that's not nearly enough, especially compared to all the other resources in the game. And also the fact that you need a really large amount of soul crystals to max it out. I checked the wiki pages for Wartune and I think it's roughly 236,000 crystals needed to cap this out, and there's basically no real steady way of getting these crystals. They've been removed from most of the spender events and so on because all the high level players already maxed this out a long time ago, and they are also not really available from regular events. Let's see, I think a good example, there is so there's this gem master event where you only get soul seals. That is good if you have this maxed out, but for those of us who still need more crystals, it's not so good. Basically the only reliable way of getting large amounts of these crystals is to do the weekly circuit quests, and that is a huge time investment required. I actually finished one round today, and it does give you, I think, 8,000 soul crystals. That is a good amount, but still it also means that you would have to do it for 40 weeks straight to max this out, and to finish those 200 quests I spent 60-ish of these Imperial Seals to skip all the dungeon quests and all the go to the Sylph Atoll and kill a bunch of Sylph quests, because they take a lot of time. But these Imperial Seals are also a bit hard to get, so you can definitely not get 50 a week, which would be needed to do this every week. You can spend bound balance, so that could be a decent way. I have almost 20,000 bound balance and I don't really spend it, so I guess I could invest some of my balance there, because it would be really beneficial to max this out. I think I need maybe 100,000 or so crystals more, maybe a bit less. I think it's roughly 5,000 per level, so that is, so maybe 75,000 crystals. I have 35k, so that is half. So I suppose I could go the circuit quest route, but this is, after all, this is over a year into my character's career here, so that's really not that good. The fact that there are no events makes a huge difference. Lately, all the exchange events where you spend your resources give, most of them give around 50% back, which means that you would need, that is a lot of soul crystals you would save, which is also the reason I still have them in my bank. I'm still hoping and praying for another event, but the reality is that there's probably not going to be any more of those events. It's the same with the Fate Stone events. It's been over a year since we had one last time, where you got rewards for spending the Fate Stones. And that's mostly because all of the old players already have that maxed out, and it's of course not that great to spend developer time on the events that many people can't even do. But it is a bit annoying, especially today, since today a Soul Seal spender event or Engulf event got introduced, which is really good. You can spend up to 5. Oh, that's annoying. Okay. You can spend 5,000 Soul Seals, I think, per day. Yeah. And you will get, let's see, 50 and 70, 50, 18, 9. So this is 1900, and then you get 30. So that is, let's see. Yeah, 49%. No, it's actually more. It's close to. My math is a bit slow here. So you get 40. This is roughly a 70% return on these seals, which is huge, obviously. I also saw that it was bugged. I actually did spend a couple of soul crystals earlier, and it says here I can collect 215 more rewards. That is a bug, obviously. But as you can see, I can't collect anything. So what should you do? Should you save your soul crystals? Well, there's no, besides the bonus you get from the gem added gem effects, there is no real point in spending your soul crystals until you can cap it out, because you can't start working on your soul seal until you have maxed out the soul engraving. So spending some of them won't really matter. So until you have enough soul crystals to reach the cap, you can basically save them, and for the slim chance that they introduce another event, get some bonus crystals. But also you need to consider the fact that this bonus can actually help if you need a small push to get past some obstacle in the game. It could be worth ignoring the spend event, the possibility of an event, and just go for it and spend them anyway. My character has level 11 gems in all slots, and I think just since I don't believe there will be an event, I'll do one of these. So I have 1,567,000, and if I go up one level, yeah, so it's roughly a 2k battle rating boost, which is okay. And for me personally, I'm getting close to being able to start soloing one of the first hell mode multiplayer dungeon, at least the first boss. So this could actually be relevant for me. Also, since I'm getting close to the cap, well, close-ish, I still need around 40k crystals. But let's say I do the circuit quests every week now, and that would mean a month or so grinding. I wouldn't miss out that much bonuses should they introduce an event, since I'm getting close to the end here. But if you have just started, the difference would be quite significant. You can also buy, right now there's some soul crystal packs available, but let's see. So you can buy 2,000 soul crystals for 999 balance. So that would mean you need 100, a bit more than 100 of these packs. So that is 100,000 balance. Yeah, slightly more actually. That is a lot of money, so that's I wouldn't really recommend spending that much money just to max out your soul crystals, but if you really want it, there's no other way basically, because you can't get them from anywhere else. I suppose I don't really check the flash sales, so I guess they could appear here every once in a while. But I don't, yeah, and these flash sales don't count for any spend events, so that's why I don't really check them. I'm not sure, perhaps maybe I think you can get them some other ways, perhaps. Yeah, okay, so you can trade insignias for soul crystals, but that is at a pretty bad rate. 2 insignias for 1 soul crystal, that's pretty terrible actually. So I have 2,500 insignias, that's 1,000, so yeah, basically you need 500,000 insignias. That's going to take you longer than through the weekly quest and so on. So it is a bit of a problem, this one. To be honest, I think they should just either just bring them back, or perhaps make some sort of catch-up events for newer players for a few select resources like this one, because it's basically impossible to catch up, which is a bit of a shame. They have done this for a lot of the other stuff. The legendary equipment is a lot easier to get now. You get a whole bunch of stones every dungeon run and so on, and you need less of them as well. So they have done it in the past, and this is one of the reasons I really think they should consider dropping either drop the requirements or make them easier to get. I know there has been a few times where you could exchange event chests to get larger quantities, but still those event chests are usually quite a few good options where you want to spend them instead, like clothing and mounts and so on. So most of the time you don't really want to spend your event chests on soul crystals. I believe I did a few months ago, but that was for I think maybe 20k soul crystals, still only 10% of what you need, and that is with a level 80 character who can get hundreds of event chests. So yeah, bring back the soul crystal events, please, and if you don't, well, make it cheaper, so it's a bit easier to catch up for us as younger players, I guess. I'm probably not one of those, realistically, but oh well. New events coming in a day or so, so I'll be back shortly with some new content. But until next time, guys, take care.